A couple of weeks ago, we came out here to Rizon Trucks, where Patrick participated in an all-electric Rizon efficiency challenge, and spoiler alert, he won.
I won.
So today we are here with Bang at Rizon Trucks to pick up our prize, which is a Nintendo Switch 2 with the Mario Kart bundle, which is the perfect prize for drivers and auto and car people. But we're also going to go get a tour of the truck, and Bang's going to show us how you drive it when you're not being
trying to win an efficiency challenge. But you guys can do that, and I'll just go play.
Oh, hell no. Anyways, I'm Liv.
I'm Patrick.
This is Bang. We're the electric duo. Let's go.
So before we get started, introduce yourself. You're Bang. You're with Rizon.
Yes, I'm Bang. Bang and Low, and then with Rizon Truck USA. We're the distributor of the Rizon, the Rizon commercial truck. It's a class 4 and 5 electric truck for goods movement or various work trucks and stuff like that. It can do a lot of trade work, I guess.
So let's talk about this one here, because I drove the one out there, but this one lets us see a lot of the components. So first of all, rear wheel drive, e-motors back here.
Yep. You
want to just walk us through it? I don't want to jump ahead.
Sure. I'll give you a quick introduction. But just obviously one of the differences, this is the incomplete truck before the truck body is built. A little bit different between the one you drove. This one is a smaller configuration. But let's go over just maybe the broad overview what the truck is available as. The Rizon truck is available as two different models, as an E16 and an E18, and those are different weight ratings. One is 16,000 pounds GVWR, and one is 18,000 pounds GVWR. And then they're also available at different wheelbases.
Okay.
So they're available in 4 different wheelbases. So 134, 152, 175, and 187 inches. Okay. Basically, that's just how long the vehicle is, how big of a body you can put on it. For example, if you're going to be moving cargo, you probably want a bigger box. If you have a flatbed, if you have like a flatbed cargo body, you probably want the longest because those are kind of open cargos. But on the other hand, if you're driving like a plumber's truck, you probably not going to have that many tools. So you probably want a shorter body. So different wheelbases for different kind of commercial uses.
And I'm assuming that's sort of like in the industry, how box trucks are sold, a lot of flexibility. The fact that it's EV maybe just makes it a little bit easier because it's just a matter of moving the e-motor and putting bigger or smaller batteries in.
I think actually as an EV, has a little more complications because a lot of things are mounted underneath the chassis.
Oh, yeah.
But, for the Rizon truck, a lot of things are more advanced compared to our competitors. So we can start here. I'll just show you. If you look here, this is very different from your traditional commercial truck because we do have a full e-axle here. So if you see here, we have the inverter and the motor, and there's a gear reduction transmission here, but all packaged at the rear axle. Some other commercial vehicles will still run the traditional configuration where they'll run a drive shaft towards the front, and then there'll be like a center mounted motor, right?
Oh, wow.
By doing it this way, we're able to mount more batteries in a safer position. So for this one, you can see we have a 2 battery configuration. Actually expanding onto what I mentioned, 2 different weight configurations, 4 different wheelbases, and we also have 2 battery configurations, 2 batteries and 3 batteries. The one you drove for the competition was a 3 battery. That's our longest range, and I want to say one of the longer wheelbase ones. For the shorter wheelbase, they're limited to less batteries. So this is one of the shorter wheelbases, I think 152. Only 2 batteries on this one. Yeah.
And what's the capacity of each battery, or just total pack?
I want to say the rated capacity is 41 or 42. There's a decimal place there. But the usable is about 38 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So it keeps a little bit in reserve to make sure the batteries have enough power to kind of run electronics and stuff like that.
And then for the range, like what's the range of ranges based off of different configurations? So what's the shortest range and your longest range?
Shortest capacity, the smaller one's going to be the shorter distance, of course. Lowest range we advise is around 110 miles for the 2 battery configuration. And then for the bigger ones with 3 batteries, you can go up to 160. Okay. But this is a kind of a little subject to, for commercial trucks, I would say it's subject to the aerodynamics of the body.
Yeah.
A big square box is not the most efficient, but on the other hand, if you have a, like a service truck with a short bed or a flat bed where air just kind of will flow over, those will get better.
Yeah.
Air,
and I'm assuming you work with the whoever the customer is to go like, this is the right truck for you, if it meets your range needs, and they probably have all that data, because I think most fleet customers, like us as normal drivers, we don't really sort of think about range on a daily basis, but I bet they know like this is the route they need, this is the range they need.
I think a lot of commercial truck operators have a hopeful range because there's the opportunity of picking up extra jobs or extra routes, to expand their revenue, of course, right? But they do, for the most part, they do know time after time, like my average is this. Yeah. And we want to prescribe the truck that meets the majority of their average routes. But of course, there is sometimes the opportunity was like, hey, there's a job, 2 cities over, that might be a 200, 300 mile drive. That probably would not be the ideal case for it. You probably would be able to, cover that job in an ICE vehicle. But on the other hand, I don't know if it makes commercial sense for the ICE vehicles to do that.
Yeah, they're not making money when they're on the road and that type of thing.
They're making money when they get to the job.
When they get to the job,
not when they're just driving to reposition.
Very cool. I love seeing the guts of this. This is like really cool to have this on display out here. It's one, I love seeing it outside in like a box configuration of how it's actually going to do the work. But I like being able to see what we're looking at here, and it's really cool to see like the batteries. I'm assuming this is also, we're at Velocity Truck Center, so I'm assuming that like service has been designed to be easy on these as well, so that they can drop a battery out if they have to, or drop the e-axle out if they need to. Yeah, so
Velocity Truck Center is well equipped to handle the EV, the commercial EVs. Rizon is the medium duty EV product for them. And that's the one I represent, but Velocity Truck Center, our dealer partner, also represents the heavy duties. So there is also the Freightliner EM2, which is a class 6 and 7, and they have a Freightliner Cascadia, which is the heavy duty. So that's the ones that are gonna be pulling like ocean containers and trailers and stuff like that. So, but they service all those. So they're very well positioned to take care of the electric commercial vehicles.
Cool. Anything you want to show us still back here, or should we move up to the front?
I'll show you. Well, I mentioned that there's the 2 battery pods, and we went over the capacity of that. But very, very well. This is a very robust, I guess, mounting of it. We have a full proper crash structure on these guys. So you do hear about batteries being a lot of stored energy. There is dangers of all that energy there, but for the Rizon truck, it's very, very well insulated from the dangers of that. Of course, we also have a very safe chemistry for the battery. These are lithium iron phosphate batteries, so definitely the most stable, probably the best longevity of the EV batteries.
And can be charged 100% every single day, and it's fine, not like NMC batteries. So that's probably a big advantage for like a fleet customer, just to be like, boom, we're going to the max, we're going to get our full range out of it.
Definitely, yes. Some, I guess, very specific to commercial vehicles. This chassis actually has an additional accessory called the EPTO, and you can see there's an extra inverter here. And if you look over here, there's an actual motor. So in some commercial trucks, they also have what they call the PTO, which is called power takeoff. So basically the truck traditionally on the ICE engine will output mechanical power. So that you can run a hydraulic pump or you can run a AC compressor. So this could be for like, a reefer truck, or it could be for, trucks that do maybe some lifting, like a dump truck that might need a hydraulic cylinder, or what's called boom truck, where cherry picker kind of truck for elevating the workers and stuff like that. Those might need hydraulic pressure. So we have this very interesting setup that will provide a similar power output. So it's providing mechanical power output for these kind of accessories. So with that said, the EPTO for the Rizon truck is very, very geared towards mass adoption for the commercial vehicle market. It's not going to take EV specific accessories. It can take your traditional accessories that truck body manufacturers are used to.
And that seems like a very smart way to do it, because like all of those things haven't been converted yet to be EV specific. So you're not like limiting the customer to be like, now you have to find a cherry picker that runs on an EV power source.
I imagine in the future there would be more options available, but at this moment I think we need to have kind of this intermediate step. Yeah,
it's pretty cool. And it's sort of like the thing that, like, as coming from just a regular car side, like we don't think about those type of things, but that's really cool.
Yeah. And then maybe I can introduce the vehicle itself. For the Rizon truck, maybe I'll show you the interior a little bit. The Rizon truck interior tends to be a very nice interior for a commercial vehicle. We got a nice leather wrapped steering wheel. We have some luxury features / energy efficiency features. So you can't really see it on the window, right? But this actually has a heated windscreen. It has a heated steering wheel and has heated seats. And those are all kind of cool comfort features. But one of the reasons why they're actually introducing those is because those are actually more efficient ways of providing the heat as opposed to heating up the cabin air.
Oh, yeah. We've seen that. And I forget which, there was one of the manufacturers for commercial, consumer cars. They had like a little heated board by your knees to because it's like, it's easier to radiate that heat, keep your legs warm than to like just blow a ton of warm air.
Yeah, just give you an idea, like the differences. If you're going to heat the steering wheel, heat the seat and the windshield, you're looking at that could be a few hundred watts of power. But if you're going to heat cabinfuls of air, that's kilowatts of power. You're looking at 4 or 5 kilowatts of power that can easily just be dumped into heat, right? So providing that option to just keep the butts warm, keep the hands warm, will really save the power for traction, for moving the vehicle forward.
Very cool.
Yep.
We could take a little bit more of a tour, but we could also like hop in and go for a ride.
We should.
All right. Should we go do that, or anything else we should hit before we go on the road?
Up to you. I can go deep if you want.
Yeah. Why don't we just hop in for a ride, and Liv can just sort of, she doesn't have a mic, so I can just say anything. But does that sound good, Liv? There we go.
Maybe I'll start with introducing some things that you didn't get to play with when you were driving the truck. If you're watching me on the shifter right now, I can click this up and down, and you can't see it from your angle, but you can on my instrument cluster. It actually says B0, B1, B2, B3, and this is basically the regen can be adjusted on the fly.
Yeah, I had it in max regen.
You had it on max regen. That's in the situation you're in dry conditions, no traction control problems kind of thing. But if you are driving, let's say if we're driving over kind of like wet conditions or a little bit of snow on the ground, you definitely don't want to use too much regen, because the regen is basically, it's the motor braking it's the motor causing a braking effect. But the reason you don't want to use a lot of regen in low traction situation is because the braking goes through the differential, right? So there's not going to be an even distribution of braking between the two wheels. So that's one of the reasons why you have adjustable regen on the fly.
Well, I even in our car, I'll turn off regen when it's icy and snowy, which we don't have here in California, but in Colorado. Just to me, it was more of like, just, you know, in icy conditions, like letting off and it's all of a sudden braking. I didn't necessarily want it to brake all the time. I wanted to coast sometimes. So yeah.
So sometimes, in a highway situation, you might want to run a little lower regen because you don't have to do a lot of stop and go. You can let it go. You can let go of the gas and let it kind of glide a little longer. So that's kind of made more preference, I guess. But you know, the more, I guess the reason for safety, I think it's in the low traction kind of environment.
And I have to say, it's a lot nicer being a passenger because I can just sort of like check things out. But it's really nice because when I did the efficiency challenge, I did no AC. This is really nice.
Yes, I remember that. We had to crack the window just a little bit. This car is a comfortable truck to drive. But you do miss the comfort of the suspension seat. Suspension seat's only for the driver. It's a comfort thing, but I think it's also a safety thing too, because having kind of a suspended seat allows you to modulate the pedals a little bit better. Being in a commercial vehicle, it is a little bit bumpy. If the vehicle is loaded, heavy, it probably doesn't bounce around as much. But in the situation where your truck is not laden, right, it can be a little bit more bouncy. Sometimes you might find your foot bouncing off the gas or brake because it's just sometimes a little bit jostling. It's not a passenger vehicle, right? We've mentioned the blind spot monitoring. Kind of interesting. Safety features that's been added in by Daimler. It has basically a side radar to monitor the blind spots. There's a lot of blind spots on commercial vehicles, of course.
Yeah.
So it's good to know that maybe there's a pedestrian there, a biker there, or another vehicle, of course.
How common is that, like on non-EVs? Is that like something that's starting to come into play a lot more?
On commercial vehicles, it's being introduced across the board. It's starting to be introduced to almost all commercial vehicles. Bigger commercial vehicles have more sensors. The smaller ones, like the medium duty ones, doesn't have as many because it doesn't need to monitor a big wide breadth of it. So it's starting to come in for all of it.
Now, I was up here for the efficiency challenge. You guys ran that the whole month. How did that overall go? You noted to us some couple of things. One, like a lot of people were interested, but they just didn't come participate. So like, if you guys do this again, how can we get more people to participate?
Maybe we should paint it Ferrari red. I don't know. I'll be honest. I think being a big truck was a little bit intimidating for a lot of.
I know it was for me.
Yeah. But I can't really get over that part. But marketing, I think we could do better. Always reaching out and introducing people to it. Yeah.
Now, the other thing that I thought was interesting is, like you said, there were several women that entered a contest and they tended to do better than the men. Why do you think that is?
I think, although they pushed past their intimidation, they were still extra cautious.
I think for me, I was really cautious,
Yeah.
which maybe helped the efficiency. So I was wondering, it's an interesting thing. And you said some people were like trying different techniques. And which technique did you think was going to be the most successful, but then ended up not?
Slow and steady, I think, was the successful one. Some other techniques, I think, didn't work out. There was some drivers that kind of flipped through the regen back and forth. I think they were anticipating. I think their mentality was right to anticipate some things, but public roads are not predictable. So what they anticipated didn't come to pass. so they had to change strategy in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened on some of them. But it's a game to a certain extent. Ultimately, even the lowest efficiency, even the people who didn't win, they got some really good efficiencies anyway.
Now were most of the participants, or all of the participants, were they familiar with driving an EV before, or EV truck before?
I want to say maybe only like 30% have driven a truck.
Really?
Honestly.
Yeah. Oh, so they're used to gas cars and maybe EVs, but just not a big EV truck.
Actually, a lot haven't had EV experience as well.
Oh, wow.
Majority, I think, did not have EV experience.
Any revelations from them of excitement, or were they just, it just moves, I don't care?
Well, I don't know. I think overall everyone's surprised by how quiet it is. Because I mean, when they're in their personal vehicles on the road, they can hear the ICE counterpart of this guy, outside of their vehicle.
Yeah.
But now they sit in one and it's like, it's, silent, like it's a library, right? So I think they're a little bit surprised by that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like, I haven't ridden in a ton of trucks, but it's like, it's generally like almost deafening. Like, we wouldn't have a conversation like this. We'd be, we can still talk. We just have to elevate our voice, but this is fairly quiet. I can hear the e-motor, so that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Actually, it's kind of funny. I remember one of the companies we had a demo with, their drivers kind of give me this feedback. They said, when they drove the diesel counterparts, they would listen to kind of rock music, heavy music. And then when they got to the Rizon truck and they were driving around, like, he switched to podcasts because he could start listening to words.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. I thought it was kind of funny. But he can do what he wants. I'm glad he has the option of listening to podcasts now too.
I think that's one of the interesting things about electric vehicles is, like, some of the benefits are fairly obvious that we talk about, better for the environment or better acceleration or whatever. But it's like some of those little things is like, yeah, you switch to an EV, you can listen to podcasts. Like, you're not going to put that on a brochure. Yeah. But it's a funny side effect of it.
But yeah, listening to something calmer, I think, also relieves stress for the day. Oh
yeah, because that's the other thing is too. I know, like, if I have to be somewhere in a hurry, that's when I want to put on the rock music or the
something with a beat and pace.
Yeah, I don't like, come on, let's go. But podcast is like, all right, I want to be stuck here in traffic for 2 hours. Let me just put on something and then I forget where I'm at.
So, I mean, they can listen to ebooks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's some like enrichment they can do sometimes, which is cool.
Very cool. Well, this has been a very cool, like, much different being a passenger, just relaxing, specifically enjoying the AC. But this is just, really cool to be a part of the efficiency challenge, checking out the Rizon. I love the fact that we're in a commercial vehicle, quiet, efficient, and hopefully very successful.
Yes. Well, I want to also say, thanks for participating in it and, letting your audience to us too. We do want to change the world, and we definitely want to change the world with, starting with commercial vehicles. And, I think you've helped play a part in that.
Oh, thanks. It's one of the things on the way over here is, like, down in our area at Oceanside, like, we have our share of, commercial trucks and stuff, as any area does. But boy, you get into this area, there's so much industry, and there's, you're basically on the shot from the ports to the Inland Empire and further. There's just a ton of trucks in this area. And it's like, if we start converting some of those, I think it's just going to be huge. I mean, even as we're going around on these streets, we're in a very more industrial area, transmission shop, all this other stuff, lots of stuff around here that could see the benefits of a truck like this. So,
definitely.
Yeah, lots of customer potential, we'll say.
Yes.
Anyways, we figured we would say goodbye to you while having a nice, comfy, air-conditioned drive in this truck. I'm trying to check what the temperature is, but it's pretty warm. So I'm really comfortable in here with chauffeur Bang taking us around. So thank you so much for joining us for this video, in which we picked up Patrick's prize from the Rizon Efficiency Challenge, which in all honesty is my prize. I've claimed it as my birthday present, so thank you, Patrick. I love it.
Her birthday's not for a while.
It's
Let her
not
fool you.
mine. Yeah, it's practically here. Anyways, this was super awesome. Let us know what you think about electric trucks, the Rizon electric trucks, efficiency challenges. I know I'm going to see if Bang would consider a closed course beginner circuit for the next one. There could be like an initial prize, you know, like a baby prize for people who are too scared to go out on the open road, because maybe that could help.
Or just a test drive for you, because she wants to try it without cars and pedestrians.
Yeah, and I wonder if other people were nervous about that too. So let us know, would you do a efficiency truck challenge? Would you do an efficiency car challenge, actually? Like, is this something that should spread? Has Bang started something? Efficiency challenge, hashtag efficiency challenge? I don't know.
We could try that. We got a Blue Cruise summer event coming up. We could try it on that.
We sure do. Sorry, I'm trying to move the camera around. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up, so keep an eye on the channel. On that note, thank you so much for joining us for this video. A huge thank you to our patrons whose names are scrolling across the screen right now. Right. Hey. Yeah, pretty much right there, though. A huge thank you to our YouTube members, too. Thank you guys so much for supporting our channel. You can find details about joining both those things, getting behind-the-scenes stuff and trinkets, and all sorts of good stuff. And on that note, just remember that whatever you drive, whether it's an electric truck or not, enjoy the ride. Bye!